I'll be back. Why, hello there, YouTube, and welcome to Freaky Future Month on Random Horror. So, yes, I thought I would bring in our reviews with Freaky Future reviews. So, today I am reviewing The Terminator. Written by James Cameron and Gail Ann Hurd, and directed by James Cameron. This stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, Michael Biehn, Linda Hamilton, and Lance Henriksen. So this is a 1984 science fiction film. See, we're not just doing sci-fi and horror, we're doing sci-fi as well, because it is Freaky Future Month. Yes, so this is a 1984 science fiction action film with little bits of horror elements in there. So basically, you should know the whole story of the Terminator. The film takes place in 1984, but the Terminator does come from the future, the freaky future. So I'm counting it in there. So we follow a young woman named Sarah Connor who's got this normal life. She has a bit of a dead-end job, but isn't complaining too much. And then her life is flipped upside down when a Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, is sent back in time from the future to terminate her, as she is the mother of the leader of the resistance in the future. But the leader of the resistance, John Connor, sends back one of his best soldiers, Kyle Reese, played by Michael Biehn. Oh, and Linda Hamilton plays Sarah Connor. And then it becomes a game of cat and mouse where the Terminator will not stop until Sarah Connor is dead, and that's its mission, whilst Kyle's mission is to protect Sarah. Little of him knowing that he was sent back for a reason, as he is the father of the leader of the resistance. Yes. And basically John sends him back so he can conceive him. So John Connor's older than his own father, and he sends him back in time to have sex with his mother so that she can become pregnant. And so, John probably knew that the mission would be successful, but it cost the life of Kyle Reese. So, let's get on to my likes and dislikes about this one. First of all, this is a classic, and I love it. It has stood the test of time. I like the effects they had, like from the whole time displacement equipment, the time bubble. I always wondered for a long time, as when I first saw this, thinking, why are they naked for? And then it's explained that only living organic tissue can come through. Anything dead or not alive does not come through. And that's why the Terminator is wrapped in human tissue, and that's why they replicate a living human tissue, so that they can move through time. Which was clever from the Terminators. So I liked Arnold Schwarzenegger's acting in this. He's usually known as the action hero, but I think this was his first lead role in something. It might not have been. But this is the franchise that introduced me to Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I saw T2 first, but we're not doing that right now. We're reviewing the first film. I liked Arnold Schwarzenegger's performance. He was so sinister looking as the Terminator. He was menacing and was just emotionless. I also liked Linda Hamilton in this, and Michael Biehn, our two other leads in this. Their acting in that was great, and yes, Michael Bihn's character Kyle Reese put up a good fight against the Terminator, even though he ended up dead. I'm sure I'm not giving any spoilers away. This film is over 30 years old, so if you haven't seen it, where have you been living? And this also had Lance Henriksen in it as a detective. There is a scene in the film where Sarah is taking refuge in a police station whilst Kyle has been interrogated by the police and Dr. Silverman. Dr. Silverman as well. I can't remember the actor who plays his name. Who plays Dr. Silverman in the Terminator films? Let's see if we can find him. Yes, Dr. Silverman. He was a recurring character through the original trilogy, and he was. It's Dr. Siderman. Siderman, I'm pronouncing it wrong. Played by Earl Doan. Hang on, not Doan. Bone. Am I pronouncing that right? He has made cameo. Well, he played a secondary role in the first Terminator, and then he played another one in the second film, and made a cameo in the third film. And that was the last time he was in that. This also had a small part from Bill Paxton, the late Bill Paxton, as one of the gang members that the Terminator runs into, demanding their clothes. Yeah, I like the story and the action sequences, especially the whole shootout scene in the police station where the Terminator is just walking across, shooting down and gunning cops, and he's showing no mercy because, like Kyle said, it cannot be bargained with, it cannot be reasoned with, because it is a deadly machine. And the Terminator literally did not stop at anything until Sarah was dead. In the final fight chase scene, the Terminator's flesh is burnt off and he's still going after them. Even when they've been been blown up in half, it's still going with its last limb. And then again, Sarah, she manages to trap it into a machine and it gets crushed to death and its arm is left. And its chip. Which play a part in the second film, which we will review another time. And yeah, it's just a great story. And at the end, Sarah is making some video messages for John, and she's pregnant with him. So basically, the future is set. Well, as Sarah puts it, the future is not yet set. See, the first film was about stopping John Connor from not being born. They had to, it was about making sure the leader of the resistance will be born to lead man in the war against Skynet, which is the program which the Terminators are from. Skynet is a weapon program, a highly advanced computer weapon program that becomes self-aware on August 29th, my mother's birthday, in 1997, Michael Jackson's birthday too, and the Horror Miser's birthday as well, if he's watching. Yes, so yeah, it was a great film. There are a few dislikes, such as some of the effects were a little poor, including the scene where we first see the Terminator out of its skin and it's chasing Sarah Connor. At some parts it was stop motion animation, but again, it was 1984. They probably spent a lot of their budget, so they probably had to make do with what they had. Also, there was one effect where it wasn't CGI at all. It was a replica of Arnold Schwarzenegger's head, where the Terminator was picking out its eye after it got damaged and we see its skin exposed. That was clearly a dummy, and you could just tell it's a dummy, but it's a noticeable thing, but I guess it's not that big a deal because the film's great. Yes, and in fact, I think Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator was great as the villain. I think they're badass as the hero in the sequels, but just evil and scary as the villain in the first film. Especially with his very few liners, because Arnold Schwarzenegger, he had a very strong Austrian accent at the time. In fact, he probably still does, but he couldn't. Some of the lines that he had, he couldn't pronounce right, or he couldn't pronounce them to James Cameron's liking. So that's why he had very few lines. But of course, some of the lines he actually made immortal, by such as the lines "Nice night for a walk. Your clothes, give them to me, and I'll be back. And get out." Those lines still get quoted today, especially within the, that Get Out thing was referenced in T2 and Genesis. Yes, but also a lot of the film was shot illegally. Like, when they filmed it in Los Angeles, they didn't have permission to film it on some of the areas, and they couldn't film it in daylight, so they couldn't afford to close off streets. So that's why a lot of the sequences and that take place at night. And to be honest, I never really noticed that, because it worked. I like the scenery at the beginning with the opening scene where we're in the future, Los Angeles 2029 AD, which is the future. Oh, and here are some fun facts for you. Do you know that Lance Henriksen was originally considered for the role of the Terminator? You see, the Terminator wasn't really meant to be big and bulky looking, and they were going to have Lance Henriksen, but I don't know what happened, but it just didn't happen. It didn't happen, and Lance Henriksen wasn't the Terminator. But there is fan art out there, and that show what he would have looked like as the Terminator. Maybe he could have been a Terminator, I don't know, but yes, Lance Henriksen played a small part in the first Terminator film and he got killed. But still, the Terminator, it's a great classic, stood the test of time in my opinion, so let's just wrap this up now. So, Terminator, the Terminator, I'm going to give that... you know what? I'm going to give the Terminator 4.5 robot claws. That's it, yeah. 4.5 robot claws, because it's Freaky Future Month, out of 5. So that has been my review on the Terminator. Let me know down in the comments below. Have you seen this? If you have, do share down in the comments. We could have a discussion maybe. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to share with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and to hit that notification bell, because that would mean a great deal to me and I'd be thankful. And all my social media links are all down below in the description, so until next time, don't have nightmares.